The activity of Russian intelligence services outside the Federation has reached the level of the Cold War, Europe is confident. According to former NATO Secretary General Anders Fogh Rasmussen, since Putin's Plan A failed and Russian troops failed to capture Ukraine in 2022, he has now turned to Plan B. His goal is to split the Western world.
Putin's calculation is that the longer the war goes on, the greater the likelihood that Western populations will become war-weary. I hear this argument all the time. Let's make peace. Let's go back to the more comfortable times. But if peace is achieved at the expense of the Ukrainians, if the Ukrainians are forced to give up territory, then Putin would conclude that his invasion was a success. He would have an appetite for more. Why not keep going? Next would be Moldova, then Georgia. Then he would put pressure on the Baltic states. Anders Fogh Rasmussen, Secretary General of NATO, 2009-2014, in an interview with NTV channel.
The Swedish Minister of Defense also agrees with the former head of NATO. According to Paul Jonsson, the Putin regime is ready to take big risks, including even a war against NATO member countries.
I think the Kremlin and Putin himself are aware that they will lose this war, but I think Russia is very interested in dividing us politically, both within the EU and within NATO. Paul Jonsson, Minister for Defense of Sweden, in an interview with Bild.
Sabotage, disinformation campaigns, hybrid attacks and nuclear blackmail. Russia's actions, according to analysts, are becoming more and more aggressive and the lies are becoming more outright. Lukashenko has repeatedly stated that the Russian Federation had transferred nuclear missiles to Belarus, but Putin blamed Denmark for the proliferation of nuclear weapons. He said that the United States allegedly sent their medium-range missiles capable of carrying nuclear warheads. The Danish Minister of Defense commented that not a single such missile has been deployed in the country.
NATO is a defensive alliance. Deterrence and defense are among NATO's core missions, which is necessary against the backdrop of an aggressive Russia. From a statement by the Danish Ministry of Defense.
Despite the fact that the Kremlin's threats are often not followed by concrete actions, Europe is concerned about the statements of the Russian dictator and his associates, especially Russia's neighbors.
We have two choices, either to believe that, he's never going to take this attack on NATO because we are in NATO as well, and to believe that it's true and not to do anything because you can't possibly imagine that they are attacking us. Or we have another choice to prepare in case this crazy man still decides to attack a NATO country because he thinks NATO is weak, because he thinks that he can win.
Strengthening the alliance's defense capabilities is the right response to the Kremlin's hybrid threat, Brussels believes. This is why Sweden, for example, conducts exercises for its military with the participation of foreign troops.
We've had partners back in the day coming to exercise, for instance, through the years of Baltops. We have had foreign troops here, but this is the first time as a NATO member that we, in this case for Baltops 24, invite US soldiers as well as Polish soldiers to come and train, exercise and cooperate on Gotland.
The head of the Norwegian Armed Forces believes that NATO has only 2 or 3 years left to prepare to effectively counter possible Russian military aggression. In an interview with Bloomberg, Christopherson emphasized that the allies really need to speed up. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Larissa Petruk, UATV News.